Last time we have discussed about correctness analysis of an algorithm. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about performance analysis of the algorithms. Okay, so performance analysis is again divided in two parts. First is space complexity, and the second is time complexity. By this time, you probably have been familiar with these terms, right? So first, we are going to tell about space complexity, and then time complexity. So space complexity is nothing but the amount of memory or space required by an algorithm to execute in a computer. Now this space complexity or time complexity both are defined in terms of a mathematical function uh, on the size of input. Okay, so we are going to see what these things mean. So first let us define these things. Okay, so space complexity is nothing but the amount of memory required to execute an algorithm. But nowadays, whichever book you follow, you will find that space complexity is not much discussed in nowadays. That is because in nowadays computers are provided with huge amount of memory or RAM. Okay, at least 4 GB or 8 GB RAM is available even in laptop today, right? But I can remember when I was first introduced to computer. At that time I was in class 8, and in probably in the year 2002 or 2003. At that time, when I first met the computer, it was running on probably 32 or 64 MB RAM. Processor was probably Intel Pentium 2 or 3, and Windows 95 98 was there at that time. Okay, so that was pretty much less memory, right? You can understand that 32 MB or 64 MB of RAM is basically not comparable with today's laptop or today's computer, right? So since the space in computer have grown in a much faster way by this time, so space complexity is not much of concern nowadays. But you can understand back in those days, back in my days or prior to those days, space computer has very limited amount of space or memory, right? So that's why space complexity was very much important at that time, but not nowadays. Okay, so our main focus will for performance analysis of any algorithm will be in time complexity. Okay, so time complexity is nothing but the amount of time required to execute an algorithm. Now here comes a tricky part. Now by the word time, we are not mentioning time over here. Actually, you can see an algorithm whenever executed will be executed a finite number of steps, right? Now in a 2.4 gigahertz processor, that finite number of steps will be executed much faster than a processor which have 2 gigahertz of frequency, right, or a clock pulse, right? So we cannot compare time like that. But what we can compare is the number of steps that the algorithm is going to take based on the size of the input. Okay, so the word time is can be misleading over here, but by the word time we are not generally meaning the exact time in seconds and millisecond like that, but rather we are uh, measuring it in terms of steps, number of steps that are going to be executed in an algorithm, and that is not in seconds. Okay, so if an algorithm suppose take 500 steps, so in whichever computer you run, be a 2.4 gigahertz computer or be a 1 gigahertz computer, it will always take 500 steps. Okay, so in that regard we are finding out the time complexity. Okay, so again we are finding out or we are measuring the time complexity in terms of steps, number of steps that the algorithm is going to take, not in terms of number of seconds that the algorithm is going to take, because the number of steps will be invariant irrespective of the computer, whereas the number of seconds that the computer will take will be highly dependent on the nature or architecture of the computer. Okay. So now, as I already told, be it space complexity or time complexity, the complexity is measured as a function of the input size. But now, not only the size, you can see that at some for some algorithm that time complexity depends on the value of the input, or at some time on the pattern of the input, right? If I give an example, so in case of size, so let us say if we are doing a linear search, okay. So if there are more number of elements in an array, then a linear search will take more number of steps, right, to find out an element. So that is where the time or number of steps of that algorithm will be dependent on the size of the input. Now in case of value, suppose you are trying to find out again the factorial, okay. So suppose you are trying to find out factorial of n. Now if the value of n is 5 and the value of n is 100, so the loop is going to be executed more in when you are trying to find out 100 factorial rather than in 5 factorial, right? So in such example, the time complexity will be dependent on the value of the input, okay, rather than the size of the input. Now again, there is a study where actually we can tell that this value is nothing but again dependent on the size, okay, because this time complexity and space complexity we are basically measuring in terms of Turing machine, where the values are represented in bits. So again, if we compare 5 and 100 for the factorial, so 5 will take only 3 bit, whereas 100 will take probably 7 bits, right? So again, it will in that respect we can tell that it is also dependent on the size only, but not value. But not going into that complexity, we are telling that the performance also dependent on the value of the input that is given to the algorithm, okay. Next, come to the pattern of the input. You probably have done quicksort in terms of in your course of data structure and algorithms, right? Or you might also have done the linear search, whatever. So in case of quicksort, if you can remember that the algorithm behaves worst when the array is already sorted, right? So that is a pattern, right? The sorting of the an array which is already sorted is a pattern in the input, right? So if you give an array input like 1 2 3 4 5 in a sorted manner, so that is a pattern on the input. Or the best case, if you can remember, in case of quicksort, the best case is when the pivot element in quicksort divides the array in exactly two parts which are exactly in same size, right? Or the pivot element divides the array exactly in the middle. So in that case, the best case or the best performance of quicksort is achieved. So you can see that on the pattern of the input also the time complexity can depend, okay. So with this, you have now got the idea about space complexity and time complexity. Next, we are going to tell about the case for analysis. Okay, so there are basically three cases when we analyze an algorithm. The first thing is the best case, and then the worst case and the average case. Okay, so in the best case, what will happen? Best case actually refers to the instance of the input where the algorithm performs the best, okay. It means that it is a property of the input data for an algorithm, okay. So in that case, if the input data follows the property, then the algorithm will performs the best, okay. For example, in case of linear search, if the search element appears in the first always, okay, So that will be the best case for linear search, right? It will take order of 1 time. So the instance of input for which the algorithm performs the best is the best case. Okay. So again, uh, by performance we mean we mean taking least possible time for execution, or least possible steps for execution rather. uh, we are considering only time here, not the space complexity. Okay. So in the best case, actually, the if for an algorithm your input conforms to the properties of the best case scenario, then the algorithm is going to have the best performance at that for that instance of input. Okay. Now this best case has to be generic and not to be considered in trivial cases. What does it mean is that if your algorithm, suppose you have an algorithm for sorting and sorting using suppose bubble sort, right? Now by your knowledge of data structure, you know that bubble sort at worst case or at best case at best case it might take order of n if you use the flag, or it might take order of n square if you don't use the flag. Okay, so let us consider it is taking order of n. Now someone can tell that if the size of the input or size of the array which we are going to sort using bubble sort is 1, then it will take constant time. So why that is not the best case? Okay, so those cases are trivial cases. Okay, where we fix the size, but we are not going into the trivial cases. Trivial cases are not to be considered as a best case. Okay, best case is going to be generic. So for n size, what will be the best case? Okay, so it will not be dependent on size, rather it will be dependent on the property of the inputs for which it is going to be the best case. Okay. So always remember, whenever we are analyzing the best case and worst case scenario, the cases means the properties of the input, okay, and not the time. Okay, so I will come to the time in the next slide. So next is coming worst case. So similarly, the instance of input, okay, for which the algorithm performs the worst. Okay, or you can also tell the properties that the input of an algorithm uh, for which the algorithm performs worst is the worst case. Okay. So by worst case performance, again we mean the highest possible steps for execution or highest possible time for execution. Okay. So in case of best case, we are considering the least possible time for execution. In case of worst case, we are trying the highest possible time for execution for any instance of the input data. Okay. An algorithm cannot performs or cannot take much time than the worst case. Okay, so that's why it is called the worst case. Coming to the average case is nothing but the mean performance for of all the other input except the best case and worst case. Okay, so the mean performance means average performance of over all the inputs to the algorithm except the best case and worst case. So best case and worst case property is again the property of the input data to the algorithm, and it is not the time of the algorithm. Okay, so the case best case or worst case, okay, is the property of the input data to the algorithm and not the time. So when we analyze the cases, next what we are trying to find out, that for those cases how much time it is going to take by the algorithm if we execute the algorithm. Okay, so next we will focus on the case wise time complexity, or what it is called. Okay, so when we are considering an algorithm with its best case and trying to find out the performance of that algorithm with the best case input, so that is called best case time complexity. Okay, it is defined by the time or steps required by an algorithm when the input data follows the best case property. Okay, it means for example, for a linear search, the best case property is the search element always appear at the first, right? So this is the property of the input data, and how much time it is going to take when the search element appears at the beginning of the array is basically the best case time complexity of linear search. Okay, so best case is the case, best case time complexity is the time complexity or time required uh, to execute an algorithm for that case. Okay, similarly we have worst case time complexity is nothing but the time or steps required by an algorithm when the input data follows the worst case properties, right? So again the same thing but in a different way, I mean in the opposite way. Okay, so the worst case time complexity means the you have the worst case of the algorithm, you can understand what is the when an algorithm is going to perform the worst, and the worst case time complexity means the amount of time it is going to take when the input data conforms to the worst case of this algorithm. Okay, and finally we have again the average case. So it is the time or steps required by an algorithm on an average. Okay, the mean time or I mean the mean time over all other input except the best case and worst case is considered as the average case of an algorithm. So with this we come to an we come to an end of the first part where we have discussed about the performance analysis by means of uh, space complexity and time complexity. We found that space complexity is nowadays not considered because of the large availability of space or memory in our computer nowadays, but we still focus on the time complexity, and there are cases, the best case, worst case and average case, for which the algorithm performs the best, the worst and the average respectively. Okay, and for those cases the amount of time it is required is called best case time complexity, worst case time complexity and average case time complexity respectively. Okay, so in the next section we are going to, in the next part we are going to discuss about the asymptotic notation, which are basically used to denote the time or space complexity of algorithms.